Then we'll move towards the channel modeling, that is multipath channel modeling. In this figure we can able to see two mobile receivers are there, mobile 1 and mobile 2, and one base station who is responsible to transmit the radio waves or wireless signals. So this mobile 2 is receiving the multipath components. So here the first multipath component exactly line of sight, and second multipath component is due to the reflection or obstruction. So second multipath component due to the reflection. The mobile 1 receiver is receiving the 4 different multipath components. So first multipath component, which indicates exact line of sight powerful signal. The second multipath component is due to the yellow color building. Third multipath component is due to this particular green color building, and fourth multipath component is due to the blue color building. So in this way this mobile 1 is receiving 4 different multipath components, and due to this reason the mobile 1 influences or get affected due to the fading. So if suppose the first multipath component get mixed or get combined with the second, third and fourth, at that time due to the change in the amplitude, it is observed that the variations in the amplitude, if suppose the second, third and fourth multipath component goes out of phase or phase difference is there, so at that time the resultant amplitude of the radio channel will definitely reduced. So amplitude variation and phase variations are due to the n number of multipath components. So the analysis of the small scale faded channel with the help of impulse response. So small scale variations of radio wave can be directly related to the impulse response of the mobile radio channel. So this impulse response contains information to simulate and analyze the channel. So the mobile radio channel can be modeled as linear filter with time varying impulse response, and in case of mobile reception the length and the attenuation of various path will change with time, that is channel is time varying. So the analysis of the radio wave is done in the frequency domain, where its impulse response can be checked. So the time variation is strictly due to receiver movement, because in this case the transmitter is stationary or non-stationary, or the receiver might be stationary or non-stationary. Then depending on the movement of the mobile station or receiver at different locations with their velocity is need to consider. So we can write T is equal to d by v. So at any distance d, that is TR separation distance, we can write which is equal to v into t. So received signal is the combination of different signals coming with different propagation delays depending on the distance between transmitter and receiver. So the impulse response is the function of d, that is distance between transmitter and receiver, that is TR separation distance. So for the given radio channel, the impulse response we can draw like this. So impulse response model of multipath channel. So in this figure we can able to see x of t is the input signal, then h of d comma t is the impulse response, as it is assumed is a linear filter. So wireless multipath channel with h of d comma t, and y of t is nothing but the output signal from the channel. So the channel is a linear time varying channel where the channel characteristics changes with distance, that is t is equal to d by v. So we can write output with respect to distance and time. So output signal y with respect to distance and t. So y of d comma t, which is nothing but input signal x of t convolved with the impulse response of the filter h of d comma t. So we can write, which is equal to integration of minus infinity to infinity x of tau into h of d comma t minus tau d tau. Now suppose for causal system we can write h of d comma t, which is equal to 0 for t is less than 0, so that the output y with respect to d distance and t, which is equal to minus infinity to t x of tau into h of d comma t minus tau d tau. So as we know, d is the distance, we can write d is equal to v into t. V is the velocity and t is the time. So assume v is the constant over a time. So by replacing that d with v into t, we can write y of vt comma t is equal to minus infinity to t x of tau h of vt comma t minus tau d tau. Also we can write output signal y of t is equal to minus infinity to t x of tau h of vt comma t minus tau d tau, which is nothing but x of t convolved with h of vt comma t. So we can write x of t convolved with h of d comma t. So here we assume that v is the constant velocity over a time, x of t the transmitted waveform, y of t the received waveform, h of t comma tau is the impulse response of the channel depending on the distance d, and therefore t is equal to d by v, and also to the multipath delay for the channel for a fixed value of t. Then tau is nothing but the multipath delay of the channel for a fixed value of t. So we can write output signal y of t, which is equal to minus infinity to infinity x of tau h of t comma tau d tau, which is nothing but x of t involved with h of t comma tau. Then about the discrete time impulse response model of the multipath channel. So here discretize by discretizing the multipath delay axis tau into equal time delay segments called axis delay beans. So in this figure we can able to see on y-axis variations in the amplitude, and on x-axis tau, which is nothing but excess delay value. So here tau 0, tau 1, 2, 3. So these are the different excess delay values which is measured for n such multipath components 0 to n minus 1. So for tau 0 it is 0, for tau 1 delta tau, that is tau 2 minus tau 1, like that. So excess delay is relative delay of the ith multipath component compared to the first arriving component. So tau I is nothing but excess delay of ith multipath component, and n into delta tau is the maximum excess delay. So amplitude variations at different time values are considered here. So excess delay is nothing but the difference between the arrival rate of the radio wave due to the reflection, diffraction and scattering effect. So the impulse response for this discrete time model we can write h of t comma tau is equal to summation of i's from 0 to n minus 1 ai of t comma tau e raised to j 2 pi fc tau I of t plus phi I t comma tau into delta tau minus tau I of t. So here A is nothing but amplitude, real amplitude of the ith multipath component at time t. Tau I of t is the excess delay of ith multipath component at time t, and the phase term 2 pi fc tau plus phi t comma tau is the phase term that represent phase shift due to the free space propagation of ith multipath component. So this is simply represent with phi I t comma t, and delta t is nothing but unit impulse response or impulse function for the given model. So in this figure we can able to see impulse responses for different two values or excess delay values. So here in frequency domain we can able to see different amplitude variations and the excess delay values and impulse responses. So here red color, green color, blue color represent different impulse responses. So suppose impulse response at time 0 with excess delay tau 0. So this is the impulse response. At tau 1 we are getting this much of the impulse response. At that same time the excess delay value, that is tau 2, is 0, impulse response is 0. At tau 3 this much of the impulse response, at tau 4 this much. So in this way from tau 0 to tau of n minus 1 the impulse responses are obtained at t0. At next instance, suppose at t1 the impulse response is again checked. So we can compare the impulse responses, that is tau 0 For T0 and T1 it's somewhat same. For T1 it is also same. For T2 at time 0, T0 it is 0, but for T1 at next instance of time at T1 we are getting the impulse response. Again for T3 we are getting this much same impulse response. T4 at time 0 we are getting this much of impulse response, but here at same location at T1 we are not getting the impulse response. So in this way at time 0, T1, T2, T3 we can analyze the impulse responses of the discrete radio channel, and we can analyze the behavior of the radio channel. So if suppose the channel impulse response is assumed to be time invariant over small scale time or distance, then it may be simplified as the impulse response h of tau is equal to summation I from 0 to n minus 1 ai e raised to j theta delta tau minus tau I. So when measuring or predicting the impulse response, that is h of tau, the probing pulse p of t, which approximate unit impulse function, is used as the signal at the transmitter. That means at the transmitter the probing pulse with a specific time period is mainly utilized to check the behavior of the radio channel. That is p of t is nothing but delta t minus tau. So this is called sounding the channel to determine impulse response. So the behavior of the channel can be analyzed by using different channel sounding techniques. Then about the power delay profile. So for small scale feeding, the power delay profile of channel can be found using special average of the impulse responses over the local area. So if p of t has time duration which is smaller or much smaller than the impulse response of the multiple channel, then the received power delay profile in local area we can write p of t comma tau, which is nothing but k of impulse response h of t comma tau, where the k is the gain related to the power of the input pulse to the received power. In the measuring of the power delay profiles, so power delay profiles are measured by channel sounding techniques, which give the plots of relative received power as a function of excess delay, and they are found by averaging instantaneous power delay measurement over a local area. So here local area for indoor and outdoor. So local area for outdoor, it is considered as 6 meter coverage area and 2 meter of coverage area for the indoor applications, and the samples taken at lambda by 4 meters approximately with the carrier frequency 450 megahertz to 6 gigahertz frequency ranges, and by taking the values of the instantaneous powers and calculating the average power delay profile can be calculated, So multipath structure is very important for small scale feeding. So different methods are there. So first one is the direct RF pulse system. Second method, that is paired spectrum sliding correlator channel sounding, and last sounding technique, that is frequency domain channel sounding. So these techniques are also called the channel sounding techniques to check the behavior of the radio channel. So first method for power delay profile, that is direct RF pulse system. So this method helps us to determine the power delay profile directly. So main objective is to find the impulse response of the radio channel. So in this particular technique, a narrow pulse is used for channel sounding. So narrow pulse is used for transmission, and at the receiver the signal is amplified and detected using envelope detector, and then it is then stored on high speed oscilloscope to check the parameters of the channel. So if the receiver is set on the averaging mode, the local average power delay profile is, or we can calculate, we can measure the power delay profile for that particular local area. So this is the block diagram for this particular direct RF pulse system. So in this figure we can able to see FC is the channel frequency or carrier, and one pulse generator is used. So here modulator will generate the signal, radio wave signal. So these signals are fed to the amplifier, and amplifier will give the electrical signal to the antenna. So antenna will generate the radio wave. So here only, that is the modulator, and in between modulator and the amplifier, the electrical signals. So electrical signals are fed to the transmitter, and the antenna is responsible to generate the radio wave. So here red color line indicates the radio frequency link, RF link, and at the receiver side the receiving antenna will receive the radio wave. These are passed to the band pass filter, and after filtering again the boosting of the radio wave or the electrical signal, and the envelope detector to detect the, or just give the response of the particular radio wave. So envelope detector is responsible to provide the information about the power delay profile, and which is stored on the high speed digital oscilloscope in averaging mode. So this particular oscilloscope will give the information about the power delay profile. So this is the simple technique to measure the power delay profile by using simple modulator and transmitter, receiver, and simple probing pulse. And these are the problems associated with this technique. So first problem is subject to interference with the neighboring electromagnetic or radio waves. So if they get mixed with the RF link, you will not get the proper results. It is also subject to noise due to the wide band pass filter required for multipath resolution. So noisy response you will get, and the phases of the individual multipath component are not